So hello students, a very good evening and welcome back to Daily Current Affairs. Today is 11th of June and for today we have 4 important articles from various sources and finally 2 practice questions for you. So first important article is from Indian Express. So this article is related to Election Symbols Order 1968. So basically here we shall be discussing that what all kind of election symbols can be allotted to political parties in India. Second article is related to Shiv Shakti point. So here some of the important revelations have been made based on the data which was provided by the Chandrayaan-3 mission. Third article is related to mustard hybrids. So here we shall be discussing about the IMI resistant mustard hybrids. So what was the problem, why these hybrids were required and how they will be used in India. And finally, an interesting article of Science and Technology, that is Northern Lights. So it was predicted that there were possibilities that Northern Lights can be seen in India also, because generally Northern Lights are seen in the polar regions. So here we shall be discussing the basic concept of Northern Lights. So here 2 articles I took from Indian Express and 2 articles for today are from The Hindu. Yes. So here first article says, can a political party have the cockroach as its election symbol? What EC rule says. So basically here the context is, see, you are very well aware about this online political party that is Cockroach Janata Party. So recently this Cockroach Janata Party has raised a question that whether a cockroach can be allotted as an election symbol by the Election Commission of India. So that's why all these things were in news, that which kind of election symbol can be given to political parties in India. And because of that only this important order, that is Election Symbols Reservation and Allotment Order 1968 was in news, because this is a important legislation or order which governs the allotment of symbols to political parties in India. So let's discuss about the types of election symbols, what type of election symbols can be provided in India. But before discussing the type of election symbols, let's discuss few things about the political parties in India. Then it will be very easy for you to understand. So see, if we talk about, is it visible? Yes. So if we talk about the political parties in India, then important thing here is that if a particular group of citizens of India want to call itself as a political party, then this entity or this group must be registered with the Election Commission of India. So any political party have to be registered with Election Commission of India. So registration is required. So here all the political parties in India will be registered with the Election Commission of India. Now, in these registered political parties, there will be 2 groups. What are those 2 groups? First group will be the recognized political parties, and second group will be the unrecognized political parties. So, what all parties can be called as recognized political parties? So, for example, any national party or any state party can be called as recognized political party. So why these political parties are recognized, or how these political parties got the status of national or state political party? So see, you might have learned in polity that there is certain percentage of vote share or certain percentage of seats which is required for a party to be known as national party or state party. So all these type of parties are considered as the recognized political party in India. But if we talk about the unrecognized registered political party, so these parties are still not able to gain that seat share percentage or the vote percentage. That's why they are still not recognized by the Election Commission of India. But please note, whether it is recognized or it is unrecognized, they are registered with Election Commission of India. So if any group wants to be considered as political party, it have to be registered with Election Commission of India. Now this discussion will become very easy. So here, since we were discussing about the election symbols, so in election symbols, there are 2 kinds of election symbols. First is the reserved election symbol and second is the free symbols. So see, reserved symbols will be allotted to the recognized political parties. So that's why we discussed all these things, that under registered we have recognized as well as unrecognized political parties. So these recognized political parties will be given the election symbols which are reserved. Reserved election symbols means no other political party can use that particular symbol. So if we talk about, if we talk about the reserved symbols, so who all can use reserved symbols? They can be used by the national parties as well as state parties. So national party, for example, Congress, which has the symbol of hand, or for example, BJP, which has the symbol of lotus. So any other party cannot use this symbol because this symbol of national political party is recognized all over India. If we talk about the state parties, so no two state parties can use same state symbol because they are the reserved. Those symbols are reserved for the state parties. So yes, if we talk about the reserve symbols, so they are allotted to the recognized political parties. So for example, lotus for BJP or hand for Congress. And if we talk about the free symbols, so there are free symbols also, which are available to other kind of parties. So free symbols are allotted to unrecognized political parties as well as independent candidates. So see, independent candidates are not part of any political party. So anyway, there must be some method to give or grant a political symbol to that particular candidate. So free symbols will be allotted to unrecognized political parties as well as it will be accorded to the independent candidates. So if we talk about the free symbols, so what will be those free symbols? For example, balloon, air conditioner, grapes, dustbin, frying pan, jackfruit, all these are the election symbols only. So some of the symbols you cannot even imagine that these might be the election symbol, but yes, they are. Some of the vegetables, fruits, some of the some of the other articles like balloon, air conditioner, all these are the election symbols in India. So I think we discussed about this election symbols. Yes. So if we talk about this, that who gets what? So here we discussed about the recognized political parties. They will be getting the reserved symbols as well as the registered unrecognized political parties and independent candidates will be getting the free symbols in India. Now, the question, the main context of this article was that whether animals or whether animals or cockroach can be used as election symbol in India. So here, this is very unlikely that Election Commission of India will grant cockroach as a symbol of any political party. The reason for this is that in 1990s, in that decade, concern was raised by the animal welfare groups, and that concern was that if you use any animal as a symbol of any political party, then those animal might be subjected to cruelty during the election campaigns. Because in election, but what is happening in election campaign? One political party is targeting other. So in that case, cruelty, animals might be subjected to cruelty. So that's why during 1990s, the use of animals as a election symbol or symbol for political party was banned. So what was the reason? Prevention of animal cruelty and avoiding misuse of animals during election campaigns. So from that time, use of animals as a symbol of political party was banned. So now there might be a question, you can ask a question. So is this the case that no political party in India, either state political party or the national party, have any animal as election symbol? So can you think of any such party? Please think for 2 minutes. Is there no party in India which is having animal as the election symbol? So see, if I ask this, so the answer will be no. Because since though in 1990s the use of animals as a symbol was banned, but there is an important exception. So there is one party, that is BSP or Bahujan Samaj Party, whose president is Mayawati. So here their party symbol is elephant. So you can ask the question, then why this party is using elephant as a symbol, animal as a symbol? Reason for that was that this decision was taken by the Election Commission of India during the 1990s. But the symbol to Bahujan Samaj Party was already allotted before 1990s. That's why this is one exception in India, that though the use of animals as a symbol is banned in India, but still though this symbol was allotted before 1990s, so BSP is using animal as a symbol, that is elephant. Now, yes, this is very important point for the prelims, that two recognized political parties in different states can have same symbol. So this is very important point for the prelims. So if UPSC give a statement in the prelims that there is a possibility, so please underline the word possibility, that there is a possibility that two recognized political parties in India have same symbol. So is this statement is correct or incorrect? So here this statement will be correct. So because question is saying is there is a possibility. So what is that possibility? If the political parties are in different states, then those parties can have same symbol because these parties are not competing among themselves. So this is the reason. So here, for example, if there are two states, A and B, so here there are two political parties. So this A and B have same kind of election symbol, for example, apple or for example, tree, because they are not competing against each other. Now, if we talk about the governing law, so we already discussed that this allocation of election symbols is governed by the Election Symbols Reservation and Allotment Order of 1968. If we talk about the constitutional basis, so since all these things are done under the supervision of Election Commission of India, so Article 324 of the Constitution deals with the management of elections, control of elections, and allotment of election symbols in India. Now, second article is related to Shiv Shakti point. So here, basically, what is the news? News is recently some of the useful data was shared by the Chandrayaan-3 mission, and it was found that soil which is present at the Shiv Shakti point at the lunar surface, it is resembling or it is of almost same composition, which is similar to a lunar meteorite which was found in Antarctica. So around 2 or 3 decades back, a lunar meteorite was found in Antarctica. This was the name of lunar meteorite, ALHA 81005. So the composition of lunar meteorite is matching with the composition of the soil particles, which were recently found at the Shiv Shakti point at the lunar surface. So now all these findings have made two important revelations. What are those two important conclusions? First conclusion is that moon is having different layers of different compositions. And second important conclusion is that there might before many decades or before many years, an asteroid might have hit the moon, and because of hitting that moon, yes, is it visible? Yes. So first important conclusion was that the different layers of moon are made of different compositions, and second important conclusion is that at some point of time an asteroid might have hit the moon, because of that and a depression is formed on the moon. So these are the two important conclusions. Now we will understand how we have drawn these conclusions. See, if we talk about the significance of chemical similarity, so see, generally, if we talk about the outer surface of the moon or the lunar highland, so generally the outer surface of the moon or lunar highland is dominated by ferroan anorthosite rocks. So ferroan anorthosite rocks are kind of igneous rocks. So here what we are talking, that what is the composition of the outer layer or outer surface of the moon. So generally the outer surface of the moon consists of these kind of igneous rocks. But according to the study, the soil which is found at the Shiv Shakti point, so according to the recent study, the soil is showing a mixture of ferroan anorthosite material which is at the outer layer, plus it is showing the mixture of magnesium rich rocks. Now, point here is that magnesium or iron rich rocks are not generally present at the outer surface of the moon, and this is the composition of the deeper layers of the moon. That's why this study is suggesting that materials from deeper layers of the moon might have mixed with the surface regolith. Now see, first of all, since we are talking about the soil composition of the Shiv Shakti point, so please have a basic idea what is Shiv Shakti point. So see, this Shiv Shakti point is a point where the Chandrayaan-3 mission actually landed. So this Shiv Shakti point is located at the south pole of the moon. So what is Shiv Shakti point? This name Shiv Shakti point was given by the Prime Minister of India, and this is a point where the rover of Chandrayaan-3 mission landed. So here these were the important findings were made based on the data which was shared by the Chandrayaan-3 mission. So see, if since we were discussing about the significance of chemical similarity, so what it is telling that according to recent findings, the soil or rock material of the upper surface is mixed with the soil or rock material with the of the deeper layers of the lunar surface. So now see how this can be possible. This can only be possible. See, please understand with this simple example. For example, you are hitting a stone, or you are hitting a you are throwing a stone in the pond or in the water. What will happen? The water from the deeper layers of the ocean, or water from the deeper layers of the pond will splash out. So similarly, it is thought that at some point of time, a very big asteroid might have hit the moon surface, and because of that hitting, the material from the deeper layers of the lunar surface might have come out. So that's why the material of the deeper layers are mixed with the materials at the outer surface of the lunar highland. So that's why, so this was the theory. And how this can be possible, because see, now we are talking, now we have given the example of the pond, that if I am hitting the water in the pond, the water from the deeper layers might have come out. But see, since we are talking, since we are saying that the composition of the upper layers of the moon is different from the composition of the lower layers of the moon, but how can we say that this composition is different? Because we are seeing that composition is different. So how all these things happened? So this thing was discussed, this thing was observed by lunar magma ocean theory. So earlier it was thought that the outer surface of the moon is covered by the ocean of the molten rocks. Now, over a period of time, these molten rocks, this ocean of molten rocks, over a period of time, it got cooled down. So when it was cooling down, the lighter materials came upward, and the denser materials like magnesium or iron, they came downward. So because of that, the layers of different densities were formed on the moon. Now, since these layers are of different density, and if any asteroid will hit this surface, so the materials from the deeper layers of the moon will come out. So that's why the materials from the deeper layers of the moon got mixed with the materials of the outer surface of the moon. So all these findings by the Chandrayaan-3 mission are validating the lunar magma ocean theory. Yes. Now, an important basin was discussed in the article. So that was South Pole Aitken Basin. So see, just now we discussed, no, that there is a theory that an asteroid have hit the moon surface and materials came out. So asteroid have hit the surface at this basin only, because of thus hitting this depression or basin was formed. So as you can see here in the image, this is a kind of basin which was formed when the asteroid hit the moon surface. So because of this depression only, materials came out. So what is South Pole Aitken Basin? It is the largest and deepest impact basin on the moon. Where it is located? It is located at the south pole of the moon. How it was formed? It was formed when a gigantic asteroid hit the moon billions of years ago. So this was the overall thing about the Shiv Shakti point. So here you have to remember what is Shiv Shakti point, where it is located. Then you have to remember, you have to basically remember the composition of different layers of the moon. After that, you must remember the location of South Pole Aitken Basin. Now, this article is very interesting. So basically, this article is related to new varieties of mustard. So this is the new herbicide tolerant mustard hybrids. So here the context is that now from 2026-27 Rabi season, the farmers in India will start the cultivation of IMI resistant mustard hybrids at the large scale. So this is the context. Now we have to discuss that what is this hybrid variety of mustard and why it was required in India. So see, first of all, let's discuss about the problems of mustard farmers in India. So the main problem of this mustard plants in India was the Orobanch parasitic weed. So what used to happen? See, for example, this is your mustard plant. Okay, and this is, I will change the color, and this is the Orobanche weed. This is the Orobanche weed. Yes. So now how this Orobanche weed works? So what this weed will do, no, this weed will attach to the roots of the plants, and after attaching to the roots of the plants, it will steal or it will drain the plant with all the water and nutrients. As a result, the yield will be reduced. So see, this plant looks somewhat like this. So important thing about this plant is, though it is visible above the ground surface, but majority of that plant is growing underground. So even if the farmers try to take out this plant, most of the part of the plant will be underground only, so you won't be able to take out that plant completely. The problem with that plant is, this plant or this weed will attach with the roots of the plants, and it will drain the plant with all the water or nutrients. So this was the problem in India. Now what is the solution? So here scientists have come up with the solution, and this is the news only. Scientists have developed IMI resistant mustard variety. Now, how this is a solution? This is a solution because this new mustard variety can survive a herbicide called as imidazolinone, that is IMI. So see, earlier what was the situation? Earlier, see, if there are weeds and if you spray herbicide, problem is solved, right? But the problem with IMI, see, IMI is a kind of herbicide. So earlier the problem with IMI herbicide was that if you are spraying these herbicide on the orobanchi weed, we discussed just now, so it will die, but the mustard plants will also die. So that this was the problem earlier. So now scientists have developed a new hybrid variety of mustard. So that variety is resistant to this herbicide, IMI herbicide. So here, if you spray the herbicide on the overall fields, the weed will die, but the mustard hybrid variety will survive. Now, please remember that, is it a GM crop? Is it a genetically modified crop or not? So please remember that this is not a GM or genetically modified crop. It is a hybrid crop which was developed through mutation breeding. Please remember. So now please understand the difference. What happens in GM or genetically modified crops? You insert a particular gene in the seed or in the plant. So here you are inserting the gene of any living organism to bring the changes in the characteristics of the plant. But what will happen in mutation breeding? In mutation breeding, you will expose the seed or any plant to certain kind of radiations and chemicals. And whenever these plants or seeds are subjected to all these radiations or chemicals, naturally some of the mutations will be happening in the DNA of that plant. So if natural mutations are happening, so we will take all the desired traits of the plants. We will take all the desired mutations which are happening in the plants, and hence a new variety of plant or seed can be developed. So please remember that this new variety of mustard is not a genetically modified crop, because we are not inserting anything. This plant is a hybrid variety which is developed through mutation breeding. And how mutation breeding is done? Any seed or plant is subjected to radiation or chemicals, so that naturally mutation can happen in the DNA, or mutation can happen in the genetic material. Now, so what are the changes or what are the natural mutations which are made in the plant? See, in the plant, we have an enzyme which we call as ALS. So ALS is a growth enzyme. Now, earlier, if whenever we used to spray the herbicide on the plant, no, so this ALS was completely blocked in the plant. That's why, along with the weed, orobanchi weed, mustard plants also used to die. But now, because of this yes. So now, because of this mutation breeding, this ALS will not be blocked. And if it is not blocked, the mustard plants will survive. So this was the overall news. So here, what will be the benefits for India? Benefits, obviously, the better weed control. Weed will die, but mustard plants will survive. Second thing is higher mustard productivity. If mustard productivity is higher, it will support the farmers in India. Reduced labor for weeding, because there is extra charge if you want to take all the weeds out. So it will reduce the labor charge also. And finally, edible oil self-reliance, because as you know that India is highly dependent for the import of crude oil as well as edible oil. So if the yield and productivity of mustard increases in India, so overall dependency of India on other countries will reduce. Now, next interesting article is related to northern lights in India. So it's not like till now we have seen any northern light in India, but a prediction was made. that because of intense solar activity, northern lights can be seen in India. So northern lights, that is auroras, can be seen in India. So because of this news, let's discuss the basic concept of how auroras are formed on either at North Pole or at South Pole. So see, normally if we talk about the auroras, so auroras are normally seen in the polar regions, Arctic or Antarctic regions, for example, Alaska, Canada, etc. But recently, the solar activity was very strong, so it was predicted that these auroras can be seen in some parts of India, for example, Ladakh. Now, whether they are seen or not, this we have to see. But since this was in news, so we have to discuss the basic concept. So see, in very, very simple language, I will explain you how all these things are happening. See, as you already know that sun is continuously sending the charged particles towards the earth through the solar wind, coronal mass ejections, etc., etc. But there are certain periods where the density of these solar particles which are coming towards the earth, the density is very high, the speed is very high. So it will be a kind of solar storm which is coming towards the earth. But it's not like that earth do not have any safety mechanism, because if all the solar particles are directly affecting the living beings on the earth, nothing can survive on earth. So because of that, our earth have a natural protection shield, and that natural protection shield is called the earth's magnetic field. So what these earth magnetic field do, this earth magnetic field will deviate these solar particles from the earth's atmosphere, so that life on the earth can be easily saved. But see, this is the shape of the earth's magnetic field, right? This is the shape of the earth's magnetic field. But please focus on these two regions. This is the first region, this is the second region. You are able to see this gap, right? You are able to see this gap. So through this gap, these magnetic particles can enter in the Earth's atmosphere. Because see, from here they cannot enter. Magnetic field will reflect back or it will deviate. But through the poles, since there is a small gap, that gap we call as polar cusp. So through this gap, these solar particles can enter the Earth's atmosphere. Now, when these solar particles interact with the gases in the Earth's atmosphere, so mostly the oxygen or nitrogen, the lights will be produced. And if those lights are produced in the northern pole, they will be called as aurora borealis. And if they are produced in the southern pole, they will be called as aurora australis. So this was the basic concept, that how northern lights are produced in the polar regions. Now, if we talk about the basic idea of the color of the light, so just as I discussed, that mainly the solar particles will be interacting with two kind of gases. So first gas will be oxygen and second gas will be nitrogen. So if we talk about the oxygen, so if solar particles are interacting with oxygen, so either green or red color of lights will be formed when the interaction is with oxygen. And when the interaction is with nitrogen, so either blue or purple color will be formed. So this is a general idea about the northern lights. Now a quick practice question for you. Consider the following statements regarding the election symbols in India. First is, election symbols are allotted by the Election Commission under the Election Symbol Order 1968. Second is, reserved symbols are allotted only to the recognized political parties in India. Third is, independent candidates are allotted symbols from the list of free symbols. So I think we discussed this topic in detail. So please try to give answer of this question in the comment section. We have another question. The South Pole Aitken Basin, often seen in the news, is what? So you have to tell me what this basin is. So whether it is a volcanic caldera on Mars, whether it is a large impact basin on the far side of the moon, whether it is a crater on Mankari, or whether it is an asteroid belt region. So read this question once again, go through the analysis of the Chandrayaan-3 mission and try to give answer of this question. So yes, that's all from my side for today. Thank you and have a nice day.